Hello, Cancer. Thank you for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. Supportive Oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just see. Cards are kind of flopping out when I was doing it. They're face down, but still. Alright, so the Ten of Wands came out from the bottom here. Let's just leave that here. I don't know what we're going to do with that just yet, but it's just, of the ones I picked up, the Ten of Wands is here. It's kind of like, you know what, there's some work being done here. I almost wonder if it's stress between you and someone else or some situation. Let's see what we have. I gotta flip all these over. I don't know why I did them face down, but I did. Now these three cards are the ones that flipped out. Alright, I feel like they're face down for a reason. So let's go ahead and get into this. The Ten of Wands is really feeling this. And I didn't want to see it, but I did see it. So, Ace of Cups reversed. This isn't bad and where it's going to go. I just feel like it's due to the Ten of Wands, the stress of whatever's going on. You're very... I feel like you used to like something and currently it's just not going well. It's almost like whatever you're dealing with, you used to like it, but something is just like, and you don't want to walk away from it. I don't see you arguing. I don't see you having a broken heart about it, but it's kind of like you're afraid that that might happen. It's almost like the stress here. I'm getting this Ten of Wands stress here, and we're pushing out the Hierophant. So the Hierophant with the Ten of Wands is like the way things go, the way they're currently going, if they keep going this way, it's just too much stress, and you're just like, I'm not liking this, and I don't know if this is going to end up in a bad ending or arguments, and you're nervous about it. I see you being a nervous person about going into this or dealing with this because you're like, it used to be so much better, but right now it's not. And I don't know about, if we keep doing it like this, it's becoming more and more stressful. I just don't think it can keep going on this way. Business, personal, whatever you got going on there. All right, so you got the Knight of Swords because you're quite aware. You're kind of like, and I like the energy I'm feeling with this. You know what you have in front of you. You know you don't like it. You know, and I feel like you're in that spot where you're like, well, if I'm not liking it, more than likely other people aren't either. So, or whoever you're dealing with, whatever you're dealing with. So you're like, all right, I got to try to fight for this. And that's, I feel like, your first step. Kind of like, can I make this go a better way? Can I improve this? Is that an option here? Is that an option here? And I feel like you want it to be, but you're kind of on that realistic note at this moment. You're kind of like, it hasn't gone well for a while, whatever it is. It's been good in the past. Can that come back? Or is there a way to change this and something new can come forward and that happiness can still be attained? So you got the Knight of Swords. You're out there. You're willing to communicate. You're trying to get your feelers out there. You're trying to find things to do what you need to do. For somebody, I feel like it's a relationship, like a romantic relationship, and you're kind of like, well, let me put out some feelers. Let me see if I can find, like, maybe we can do date night. Maybe we can do something they like to do, something we used to do. Try to figure out, like, why this isn't working anymore. Why is this not working anymore? For others of you, it's a business situation, kind of like, all right, I don't like this. There's something you don't like, and is it about the people? Is it the people you're around? Is it the work? You don't like the work? Is it the hours? What exactly is it that you don't like right now? Is it taking away too much time from other things, like family things you'd rather do, or things with your friends? It's like evaluating what it is, and I feel like it's like, all right, once I identify what it is, what possibilities do I have to stay here and fix it, or do I have to go somewhere else to fix it? So you're doing the work. You're doing the work. I don't feel like it's something you're like. It's not. You're not even looking at it like it's an option. You're kind of like, no. I gotta think this through. I gotta think about what I need to do here. So this is good. When you do this Knight of Swords, what comes in the environment is the attraction. It's kind of like, all right, you're looking for ways to make things better, and I'm getting like you're pulling something towards you. Now, this is interesting. What I see coming forward next seems a little bit unnerving, just to be fair. Now, I said there's a different card in this deck that's kind of similar to this. This is Void. Which Void is kind of like you're not seeing anything. It's kind of like, and I've said this about the Dark Moon before, the Dark Moon gives way to the New Moon, and that's a very positive energy in my opinion. This one is like you're just starting to go into the Dark Moon, though. That's what the Void feels like to me. In this situation right here, it's kind of like, it's just dark. And I feel like there's this energy where you're just kind of like, I'm out there looking for answers. But you're like, you got the Moon card there, which the Moon is like connected to Cancer. So when I see the Moon card in the tarot deck, it makes me think of Cancer. I think it's technically connected to a different sign for the tarot, but I don't know. For me, I'm feeling Cancer, so I'm going with it. You're trying and you're realizing something's got to give here. Something's got to give, but you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But it's the Moon card is kind of like, I'm gonna do something about this, but I don't know what, and I don't want to jump before it's time to jump. I don't want to try to force something forward if it's seeming like it's just, I don't know if it's gonna really be a good idea. Like you're in that weird spot. Like I need to do something. I want to do something. I'm not sure. Like nothing is. I need more light. I need more light in the situation, because if I force something forward, I could easily force it right off the cliff because it's dark. I can't see. I could go right into a tree. Right into a tree. That's not going to help me or anybody else. So you're kind of in this weird sense. Like I got to do something, but I can't see enough to really make something happen. And the Void is happening in the environment. But the thing is, this is very interesting. In the environment, the Chariot, somebody, be it business or a person, somebody else is taking it upon themselves. They heard you looking for answers, looking to change things, looking to improve things, and they're making moves on their own. Somebody's making moves separate of you, be it business or personal. They're taking the information you're putting out there, and they're stepping back and they're using it to their own ends, their own means. It's not good or bad. Granted, it's a general reading, but when I'm connecting to it, it's not really good or bad. It's just basically saying it's happening. So they're moving forward based on what they feel like they should do. And I'm getting, after they've moved forward, after this energy has moved forward, that's when the King of Swords shows up in the environment, saying, then you get it's almost like you're getting the information after it's happened. It's kind of like the ship sailed, and then somebody's calling you when they're like, 100 miles out to sea. They're like, oh yeah, remember that ship that ship? Did you know that ship was there? Yeah, I'm on that ship. Yeah, I'm on that ship. Yeah, so, bye. And that's how that's kind of working. That's kind of how it is. That's what I'm seeing. Like, basically, when the King of Swords is saying, I already made my decision, I've already moved forward, I'm on my ship, and I'm 100 miles out to sea. So, it's just what it is. Now, this is very weird, because whatever it is, I feel like it's a weird moment. It's a weird moment because you're not happy about it, but you're just kind of like, I feel like you're holding back with letting people know how you really feel about it. You got these 3 cards, and I already looked at them, but they're face down. Like, I feel like you're keeping it to yourself. Especially because you've got the Hermit there. You got the Hermit card. Is that this one? There's the Hermit. The next one here is the Page of Wands. And then the top one is the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is not a fun moment. It does not feel good. Page of Wands is kind of like, just kind of working through it, trying to keep it just almost like you don't want to talk about it. Like, you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want other people knowing about it, because if other people know about it, they're going to bring it up, and you're just like, I don't want to talk about it right now. So I'm not even going to make it a convent. I'm not even going to make it like a possible conversation. And then the Hermit here is kind of like you're thinking to yourself like what you need to do next, which is normally a Hermit feel, but with it face down is like all of this you're keeping very close to your heart. You're not really, I don't see you expressing it to others. And while that's all happening, whatever this was that happened, between you and the situation, it's kind of like, it's kind of strange. It's almost like, it's like somebody got on this boat and they're 100 miles out to sea, so they're obviously not coming right back. But there's still a connection is what I'm getting. The card is called self-love. And I feel like you're taking care of yourself. They're moving on, whoever they are, for it might be temporary. And if it's like a job situation, I almost feel like something you were supposed to do, a project or something like that, has been removed from you, or it's not going to be something you're doing. It's been given to somebody else, something like that. If it's business, I feel like it's almost like a project or an opportunity was given to somebody else, and I feel like that's what this is. So it's almost like, the reason I'm giving these analogies, it's like, it's kind of like you lost out, but it's not like you're completely out of the situation. You're still in the situation. Even if you're dealing with a person and they got on that boat, they're 100 miles out to sea, you're like, well, you may be on that boat 100 miles out to sea, but that's a cruise ship. You're going to have to come back and get your stuff at the very least. Again, with like the business connection, the job or the project might have been given to someone else, but you're still working with these people. You're still dealing with these situations. So you're still connected here, but it's kind of like, well, you kind of moved on without me. That's not okay. But you're kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to do about it right yet. And you don't want other people telling you what to do about it. That seems to be another factor here with those 3 face-down cards. You're not happy, but you're not interested in somebody else's opinion. You're just going to keep it to yourself. And you know this person will come back. Person or situation, it will come around, and answers will have to happen. Because there's more to be worked out here, and you seem to know that quite easily is what I'm getting. So whatever it was that was good before and you were trying to fix, and this person, whoever this is, took it on themselves to do what they wanted to do, they moved out of fear is what I'm actually getting also, by the way. Which there's not really a card to really explain that other than like the 10 of Wands where there's a lot of stress. But it does feel like they moved forward out of fear, kind of like they're trying to make a decision before you made a decision. But whatever it was, I'm getting like they have to come back and they have to explain the decision at some point. Whatever it was, whoever it was, whatever the context of this situation is. Because you have the King of Coins, which is the King of Pentacles in most decks, showing up in the environment. This person or situation is going to rectify the reasoning and why what happened. There's going to be an explanation about this, that, and the other thing. And this, ironically, is where you're at your strongest point to correct the situation, which I find it very odd because it's kind of like somebody made a mistake here. They moved forward out of fear. They literally could have brought the house down. They could have brought the house down, but I'm getting the way you handled it, and you were not happy, and you just kind of sat on it for a minute. It seemed to keep possibilities alive for you because your matching card is the Ace of Wands. When this information comes towards you, you're very active about, all right, well, if you're going to make moves, I'm going to make moves too. Just explain to me what your goal is for making the moves you did. Like, for example, if this person was 100 miles out to sea and they just kind of left you on shore, obviously they had to come back either way. But, like, why did they do that? Like it's almost kind of like, were you going to leave me, but then you realized you had to come back and get your stuff? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why did you do that? Why did you make that abrupt runaway just to know you had to come back? Like, why did you set this up this way? And the same thing is with like the business situation. Like, that project was supposed to be mine. It had been talked about. I had been preparing for it, and then you just kind of sneaked it out from under me real quick. Why did you have me get all prepared and get all this information? That's a lot of time wasted. That's not my fault. So why did we do that? It's almost like things have to be explained. You know what I mean? This is where you have the strongest ability to correct the situation. Because I feel like somebody has to really own up to like why they did what they did. The way this is ending is extremes and blossoming. This is going to cause quite the moment. Positive or negative is a good question. Extremes is basically just that. It could be a very passionate encounter. It could be a very angry encounter. It could be very good. It could be very not good. But blossoming right after is saying, this moment, is going to let you get control of what's happening next. It's either fix it and let's go. It's kind of either going to bring it really back to a really good place again. It's going to bring it right back to where it needed to be, where it used to be. It's going to make it very healthy again. Or it's going to sink the ship. It's literally going to punch a hole in the hull, and it's going to blub, 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 blub. It feels like the extremes is exactly what it should be. It's like it's either going to pass or fail. But it's going to pass or fail in a dramatic way. If it continues, it's going to go really good. If it stops, it's going to sink. It's going to sink hard. It's like there's going to be no correcting it. It's going to be bad. It seems like they're saying you're headed towards an extremes moment. When you're in this moment where you have the ability to put this situation where you want to, I feel like they're saying keep yourself together, especially when you're in this moment where you're keeping it to yourself. I would write down, if you can, if you're in that state of mind where you can do it, write down what questions do you have about the situation, and then try to group those questions together. Like, why did you choose a boat? Why did you leave? Why did you do it so abruptly? Like the why. So those are all the whys. What were you hoping to get out of this? What were you going to do afterwards? And get all the what's together. How were you thinking I was going to handle this? How were you going to move on afterwards? All the hows are together. And then try to boil them down to the simplest question. Like, the simplest question might be like, why did you do this? Why did you make this decision? Like, when you're asking them, like, you might want to boil it down to the most basic 3 questions you can, or the best you can anyway. So you can get a very direct conversation there. Like, get your main answers that, everything else kind of branches off from. Like, why did you do what you did? Like, why did you do it? Branches off to all these other questions. Like, how did you think that was going to work out? Why did you think I would like that? Where did you think I would go? When did you think this was going to all work out? Like, all of those branch off the trunk of, like, why did you do this? Like, why would you do this? All this other stuff happens based on this base question. And I feel like if you get that together and you have that set, it will make it easier for you to, like, really kind of keep it together, make your decision. And, like, if this is going to sink, then it's going to sink. Or if there's a chance to save it, then finding it right off the bat and saving it. Because I feel like left or right, it's either going to sink and sink hard or fly and fly high. I just don't feel like there's any, like, it's dramatic. It's very dramatic. But you have the Ace of Wands. And when I'm saying that at the end, it really does kind of feel like I'm trying not to be, like, too overly optimistic, but I really feel like whatever it works out, it'll be in your favor. Even if it sinks and it sinks hard, and that's not going to feel good, and I know that. Once it's sunk, though, it's going to be kind of like, well, it's done. You're not going to feel good about it. You're going to have some time. You're going to have to, like, adjust to it, definitely. But it will be done, and you will be free to move forward, and you'll be able to move forward a lot healthier. So it will go to your advantage in the long run. This is kind of keeping it so it's not going to linger. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like trying to keep something on life support when it really shouldn't be. So it's either going to fly high, or sink hard. If it sinks hard, it's still a gift to you because you don't have to, like, nurse it or try to save something that really doesn't want to be saved. So either way, it will work out. I know that one way is just a little harsher. All right, I think we're there. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.